Brotherhood of the Eternal Light, teaching the Western mysteries. This video is about the basics of meditation. Meditation is one of the most important foundation stones of spiritual training. Meditation as a term derives from the Latin word meditatio, meaning reflection, contemplation, study, practice and preparation. Meditation is a spiritual exercise which allows us to develop our soul and to prepare it for the state of enlightenment. We can do this by exploring both our soul and the higher planes through meditative inner reflection. To get into a good meditative state, it takes a little preparation. For this reason, we'll have a closer look on planning and preparation in this section. The time for meditation should be well chosen, so that time will not be an issue. The food on the stove or friends coming for a visit in 20 minutes can prevent us from proper focus on the meditation. It also makes sense not to meditate immediately after a meal, because then the stomach is concerned with digestion, causing us to feel sleepy. Meditation should not end up in an after-lunch nap. In order to establish a regular routine, it might be helpful to choose a specific time of the day for your meditation. Many people choose to start the day with a morning meditation. Some people meditate at the end of the day, while others find their time to retreat during the day. Whichever time works best for you, it is important to use this specific time regularly for meditation, so that it becomes an integral part of the day. Once we have chosen a time, we must still prepare the surroundings. Before we start our meditation, we make sure to switch the telephone off, possibly the doorbell as well, to ensure that no unexpected phone call, text or message or visitor will disturb our meditation. Meditation is a special time we use to get close to our higher self and to gain deeper knowledge of life and our existence. Thus, it is a special occasion we can wholeheartedly look forward to every day. Therefore, we should prepare everything so that we need not worry about external interruptions. You do not necessarily need any aids for meditation, but for beginners as well as for the advanced, a specific incense and, if necessary, music used exclusively for the meditation could enhance the effect. These tools are similar to the shaman's drums, which help to get into a state of trance more easily. In any case, you should be careful not to become dependent on such aids. They should only be seen as a support for getting started. For example, the members of our Brotherhood do not usually use any kind of music for meditation. In the same way, you should not become dependent on external conditions for your meditation, such as a specific chair or room. We would also strongly advise you not to meditate under the influence of drugs. Serious spiritual work is not possible under drug influence, because in this state we cannot control ourselves, nor can we control the powers that were set free by the drug. In our spiritual work, it is important to have control in every moment, because without control, we are at the mercy of other powers and we are unable to gain valuable insights. We should choose clothing that is comfortable and does not restrict us. A robe, for example, could be suitable, but it does not have to be considered the standard clothing for meditation. Inner preparation is just as important as the outer one. Meditation should not be considered a chore. On the contrary, it can be a precious time for relaxation, joy, recreation and spiritual regeneration. It can become an important part of your life, connecting you with your higher self and leading you to a deeper understanding of the interconnectedness of your life. It is the time at which we can fully engage with the divine, and thereby we can find inner balance and peace. Distractions by inner images or external circumstances during the meditation should be registered, but we should not let them influence us. With time and regular practice, you will increasingly learn not to be distracted from the subject of your meditation by any disturbances, interruptions, or bad concentration. It is difficult to relax and concentrate when we have assumed a tense and unrelaxed position. There are many positions in yoga, the so-called asanas, which are used for meditation. The lotus position is probably most common, and it is often praised as the best position for meditation. It is, however, hard for Western people to get used to this position, and it often requires many years of training. Therefore, it is not considered a relaxed position for everyone. In the Western tradition, we want to ascend spiritually and at the same time remain active in our everyday life. Thus, we prefer to keep both feet firmly on the ground, and so we do not use the lotus position. A straight spine is especially important for meditation. Unfortunately, many people today have poor body posture, and for some of them, a straight, upright posture might be strange or painful. Whatever position you choose for yourself, it is best to remain in that position and not to change it constantly. Any position becomes uncomfortable after a while, but if you change your posture again and again, you will never get beyond this point. The best way to deal with this problem is to persevere, without paying too much attention to any discomfort. In time, it will get easier. Here you can see the Egyptian god form position. It is named as such because Egyptian deities and pharaohs are often depicted in this position. It is by far the best sitting position for Western people, because in the Western world we want both to ascend spiritually without losing grip, whilst keeping both feet firmly on the ground. In this position, one sits down on a comfortable chair which should neither be too hard nor too soft. The feet are placed on the ground side by side. In case the chair is too high, it is best to use a footrest. The hands rest on the thighs, not on the knees, because otherwise we do not sit up straight. You should be seated with your back upright, not leaning against the seat back. The lower back can be slightly supported by a pillow. This position is suitable for remaining in the same posture for an extended period of time. In mythology and symbolism, this position is called Vajrasana, diamond position. It is the classic praying position in the Western world. It is an excellent position to keep the back straight, although many beginners complain of aching. This seating position originally was typical for scribes. In yoga, this position is known as Sukhasana, comfortable position. In this position, it is especially important to keep the back straight. Most people tend to bend their backs in this position. As an alternative, there is the half lotus called Adha Padmasana. In this position, only one foot is placed upon that thigh instead of both. Therefore, it is much easier to keep the back straight. In yoga, this position is called Savasana, or dead man position. This image can also be found in ancient Egypt. Most people can easily relax in this position, but there is the big disadvantage that many people tend to fall asleep. This is because we usually sleep in this position. This seating position is a squatting position. It is similar to the fetus position. We usually assume this position in a state of shock or trauma. These states are also comparable to the state of trance. In this crouching posture, we can retreat deeper into ourselves. This position is mostly used for special purposes. The prophet Elijah, for example, used this position to pray for more rain on Mount Carmel, and the first Kabbalists used it for their inner journeys to the Merkava, the divine throne. Not every kind of meditation requires a calm position. Some types of meditation require strong concentration, such as path workings, and so they are not suitable for the body to be in constant motion. However, there is nothing against doing awareness exercises or intense contemplation whilst in motion. Also, monotonous duties like ironing, washing the dishes, or folding the laundry are suitable for this kind of exercise. These variants can be used every now and then, especially when there is no time for meditation. In Zen, meditative walking is called kinhin, which is counterpart to the classic sitting meditation. An upright posture is important for a relaxed meditation. Allowing the head to drop forwards or backwards is a mistake made by many beginners. In the early stages, it may be strange to hold your head upright while relaxing your neck at the same time, but you will get used to it quickly and experience the benefits. Because if you keep your head upright, it rests on your spine. If your head droops, the weight must be carried by the neck muscles, which leads to a tense posture. If the back is not kept straight, this also results in a tense posture because the lower back muscles must carry the weight of the upper body. We hope this basic knowledge will be helpful for your meditations. You can read more about it in Salomo Baal-Shem's forthcoming book, An Introduction to Magic and Meditation, or visit our free online course, where you can exchange ideas with kindred spirits.